So good afternoon, everyone. So yesterday we talked about a brief introduction to C++. Okay, so we'll continue with the same discussion. First of all, let us revise the topics from the last lecture. So what all is new in C++? So let us do a sort of a revision.
We can do procedural plus object-oriented programming in C++.
Yeah, just a minute. I'll share my screen. Yeah. So it is a combination of procedural and object-oriented program. Okay. What is different in C++ from C? What all differences we saw in yesterday's lecture? Can you tell me one by one? Anyone who can volunteer?
Count instead of printf, cin instead of scanf.
Correct. So you have different libraries and different way of printing out the stuff and reading from the user. So different functionality which is provided. You have cout along with the insertion operator, and you have cin with the extraction operator for reading and writing. For writing, for printing, this is for printing, right? And this is for reading. So for this, we also use something else. What is that?
Using namesake std.
You make use of a namespace. Very good. You make use of a namespace whose name is std standard. Okay, this is the standard namespace. What else?
std double colon before the cout.
If you're not including this statement in your program, then you have to use std scope resolution operator cout. std scope resolution. Even for cin, you will have to use the same. If you're not using this, then you have to write the entire thing, right? So
new line up.
okay,
End L.
end L. End L is something which is introduced in C++, okay, that you can use instead of a new line. This is equivalent to a new line character, \n. Okay, what else for this? Don't forget the
New
header.
Data types like Boolean.
Very good. So before this, the header file. Header file has to be
IOStream.
okay. So you said some data type is introduced. One is Boolean. New data types. Boolean, true or false? Someone has asked something. No format specifier in C in cout. Very good. So there is no %f, %d. That is gone. Okay, no format specifier required. Apart from Boolean, which other data type we saw?
For strings, we can use the getLine.
First,
For strings, we can use the getLine function.
okay, and we saw that. Very good. But for that, we saw one more data type, that is string.
String.
Yes, and for this, which header file you have to include?
String.
String header.
String. Dot h is not present. There is no dot h here. There is no dot h here, right? So string is there, and for string, for reading an entire string with
GetLine
spaces,
function.
you make getLine function. Okay. That is what you saw. One more thing is, if you want to modify,
Extension.
what?
Extension. .cpp.
The extension. Very good. So your C++ file is named as .cpp file. The
For
extension is .cpp file. Yes.
for concatenating, we use the plus operator.
Very good. So for concatenation, we make use of the plus operator. So plus operator has two uses. One is with numbers. It acts as the arithmetic operator, right? And with strings, you can join them. You can concatenate. So str1 plus str2 is going to give you a new string. Okay. What else?
Size of the string.
Size and length.
Size or length function. Function or method?
Method.
What are these? These are called methods. Why? Because you need to use object. You need to use actual object for calling it, right? How do you call it? str1 dot size, right?
Yes.
str1 dot
Yes,
size. Dot operator we use. Correct? And one more thing, which anything else? Anything else left out?
Getlang.
We can directly do a mathematical operation and get the answer, like in the cout statement, x plus y or x minus y.
This is a valid expression. Correct. By the way, this can also be done in C. Huh? This is not new, but we saw this. Correct. We discussed this yesterday. Very good.
Ma'am, while introducing any variable, we don't have to put it in double inverted quotes.
While introducing any variable, but
Like
when
we had scanf, while we had scanf in C, we used to have to put the double inverted commas. But here we don't need to put that. C in B.
yes, yes. So that variable was, if I want to write a C program, then it will be scanf %d. If it is type is int, and then I say x, like that, right? So this format specifier string is missing. That is what was, that was told earlier also. This string is missing. But remember, this variable you will never put inside double quotes. Huh? Variable will always be outside double quote, because variable has to be identified by the compiler, right? So the equivalent for this will be C in X in C++, right? It's simply C in extraction operator followed by X, right? What else you can do? Can you read multiple variables in the same line?
We can use multiple insertion and extraction operators.
Yes, you can just create a pipeline. X, Y, Z. Okay, this is also allowed. So yesterday we stopped at one point where the program was not running for some reason. That I will just get back to that. Yes.
Yes, I might have the same doubt. I mean, I wrote a program where there were two lines. I had I had declared a integer variable x and a string str. So
I know. I got the same doubt in the lab. Let me clarify it. Okay, right. So yesterday I was actually changing this variable, the part of the string, right? So I had put a double quote here actually by mistake. And then when I corrected it, so this double quote is not allowed, right? This has to be a single quote. It's a character. When I change some character of a string, it has to be in single quote, not in double quote. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the thing, that is why it was not running, and for some reason it was not refreshing after saving. And when I ended the meet, at that time it ran. So that ran, that is fine. And coming to the next doubt, if you are reading a string What is happening is, if you're reading an integer, you're reading a string, that is not getting read. It is jumping. So this problem, it is directly jumping to the output. So for example, if I write this, okay, this is my program. I'm reading the integer first. Let me write the prompt. Cout, enter x, okay, and cin x, and then I have a string variable. I'm trying to read the string. So what was happening is, let us run this and see what is happening actually. I'll just comment this out. Whatever is not required. Okay, so I'm reading a integer and a string and printing out the string. So what is happening? Let us see. Let me run this program. So it is first prompting. Can you see my console?
Yes, ma'am.
So it is first prompting to enter x. So I enter some integer, and then it is prompting me to enter a string, but it is not able to read the string. Right? This is what is happening. This is the issue that you have faced, many of you. So what we
Yes.
will do is, so what we do is, this is the problem of the buffer. That buffer problem never leaves us. It was there in C. Do you remember? Before %C used to put a space.
Space.
So that problem is not going to leave you, because the compiler that is used, it is an extension of the old compiler only. So that buffer problem will keep on coming. So how to tackle this problem? There are different ways. First way is, what I do is, I write a get line. Okay, I get a get line before my get line. I write the get line twice. Okay, but this is not very efficient. Sometimes it might not work. Okay, sorry. Let me run it from here itself. So what I did is, I write the get line. So get line, if I write, whatever stray character is there inside that it will read it. The new line that is there in the buffer, it remains in the buffer because you have entered 45, and then you press enter key. That enter key, that new line, it remains in the buffer, and it is automatically reading. Your compiler is automatically reading that new line. Okay, and that is why it was not allowing you to enter anything, because get line ka definition kya bolta hai? Stop reading when you get new line. Okay, so now what you did, you entered one more get line before it. You see what I have done in line number 12, I added the get line. Okay, so now what will happen? Because of the second first additional get line that I've added, it has read that new line character into that. Okay, this is one way. This is one way of solving the problem. See, remember, this is compiler specific, this problem that we have, buffer problem, but many of the compilers are giving this. One of the older compilers which I used to use did not give me this problem, but now that standard, it is not as per the latest standard. So I have stopped using that. So this is compiler specific, but then whenever you're using strings, you have to use this. Even in case of C, we could not avoid the problem, right? We had to put a space before %C. So you have to use this.
Ma'am,
Then,
hello ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, yesterday I faced the same issue, but if you write getline only once, and ma'am, please run. Ma'am, run the code.
Yeah.
And ma'am, while inputting the value of x, if we put a space and enter the string now, it will take the value. It will read the value of this string.
Yeah, because that is what I'm saying ना, that new line character that you enter की जब आप press करते हो ना, तो get line उसको read कर लेता है, वो buffer में रह जाता है. Are you getting it? See, what is the definition of get line? It will read everything till that new line is encountered. Yes or no?
Okay, ma'am.
That is the reason. But you should not do it that way. Na? It should not work that way. That is the wrong way of doing it. Whatever you said, it is a solution. And it is working. Why it is working that way? Because of the definition of getLine. getLine says that stop reading when you get enter key. And that enter key comes from the buffer. It remains in the buffer. That is the problem. Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now what we will do is, another way of doing it is by using this WS. This WS stands for white space. So what you do with the getLine, you say cin extraction operator and WS. So it will extract all the white space that is there in the buffer. And then it will start reading. So if you use this variant also, what will happen? Sorry, again I am switching. Then also it should work. So I say 23, and now it is still prompting, waiting for me to enter the string, because this WS is going to extract all the white space that is there in the buffer, and it will work correctly. Right? So this is how you solve the problem. If this is clear, whenever you are using getLine, you make use of this. Okay, so you structure your program accordingly. So you have to practice. See, for any programming language that we have, we need to practice things and see how it is working on the compiler, how it is working on this online compiler, some other online compiler. Keep on trying that. Unless and until you get that feel, you will not progress much in this. Because see, on paper we can write code, but unless and until we run it on the compiler, we will not get that feel of or confidence of actually writing a proper program, right? So what we will do is moving ahead with this. Before we start anything, quickly I'll give you one example problem which you have done in C. The same problem you do in C++. Okay, I'll tell you which question. The question is, do you remember quadratic roots? Roots of a quadratic equation?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. That formula
Yes.
method.
Yes.
Discriminant and all.
Minus b.
B square minus 4ac.
B square minus 4ac. Okay. Can you write a simple program in C++ now for B square minus 4ac? I'll give you 10 minutes. I'll check your program by screen sharing. So let us write the formula. I'll just write the formula for you. B square minus 4ac is what? What are the roots?
Minus b plus minus root by 4a.
By 4a?
2a.
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 Yeah. So these formula are given to us. We simply have to write the C++ code. Okay, everyone knows we just have to do an if else. Take care of real roots. Real equal. What are the cases that we have? Can anyone tell me? You write it on your own. You will find on the online also, but I'm going to ask you
D greater than 0.
to share your screen. Anyone I will ask randomly to share the screen. If roots are real equal,
D greater than equal to 0.
D greater than equal to 0.
that you will write. I'm just writing the cases. What you are supposed to do. Okay. Else, if roots are
Real and unequal.
real unequal, what you're supposed to do, how to find that also you have to write this condition, whatever you are telling me now, that write that condition here. Else print the roots are imaginary. So do this. Let us start with this. I'll give you 10 minutes. Let us see who finishes first. If you're having any difficulties, please let me know. Throughout, others can continue.
And we have to take the coefficients as input, or we can attach constant value to it.
Take A, B, C as inputs.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, do we have to find the roots?
Yes.
Okay.
Only if they're imaginary, you can just mention they're imaginary. I think you can find imaginary roots also. Na? By now, you should know how to write it in the form of A plus BI. Try that as well. Complex roots you can write, right?
And what's the header file for the square root, all the functions?
Yeah, it is CMath.
CMath, okay.
And the function is SQRT.
And we have to find for all three conditions, right? Like determinant greater than 0, equal to 0, and less than 0.
Yes, 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 yes. So you will have to do a hash include CMath. Let me write it here. Hash include CMath. And the function name that you are going to use will be SQRT. And whatever is the argument, you just pass to it. Suppose the argument is D, you pass the argument to it. Now, since we are having this program with CMath, what I suggest is as homework, okay, for today. I will share this handout to you also. So as homework, you explore the functions of CMath. From where you will get these functions? Online, any resource, you can check W3 schools. There you will find about CMath. W3 schools you check. Or you can check any other online resource or tutorials which are available. There you will find all the functions which are available in this library, CMath.
Ma'am, could you please post these notes and recordings on Classroom?
Yes, I'll be posting by every week. I'll be posting once. When I finish Wednesday's lecture, I will be posting.
So today, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But don't sleep in the lecture. Please, it is not, I will, okay, ma'am is going to anyways upload the recording. So I will sleep during the lecture. That should not be the case. That is what I told you. Be diligent, be sincere, hardworking. Then only you will excel in this course.
Ma'am, can you please state the conditions? I don't remember actually.
If the roots are real, what is the meaning of that? If the roots are real, that means D is positive, right? Discriminant is positive, right? Because square root has to be the whatever is there in the square root, that has to be positive. If the roots are imaginary, D is negative. Everyone agrees on no? So if D is positive and equal, we want both conditions, right? D is positive, that means roots are real, but roots are equal, right? When are the roots equal? When if you look at this, if you look at this particular
The
formula,
discriminant must be 0.
yes. So if discriminant is 0, this part will go off and the roots will always be minus b by 2a, right? Both the roots will be minus b by 2a. So for the condition for this is actually not greater than 0, but it is equal
Greater
to,
than equal to. Acha, equal to, sorry.
only equal to, right? So only if D is equal to 0, that means the roots are equal and real. If D is greater than 0, then definitely they will be real because you check for the equality first. Okay. So if D is equal to 0, these are the roots. Else if D is greater than 0, these are the roots. Else roots are imaginary. So in case of imaginary, it will automatically go to the else part because the three possibilities are equal to 0, greater than 0 and less than 0. Right? So you do not need to check for that condition in the else part. This means that D is less than 0. But you do not need to write the condition. That is what I'm trying to say. If else. Come on, who has finished?
Ma'am, should I share?
So I'll stop sharing my screen, just a minute.
And we have to write the real part and imaginary part like
Yes.
differently.
Yes,
Okay.
you can write A plus IB, na?
Yeah.
In that form, huh? Print it out in that form. Yes, who is going to share the screen? Who is it?
Done now.
Who is sharing the screen? Who was
Ma'am,
volunteer? Yes.
I'm facing some issues, ma'am.
Let
I will
someone
share
who has
later.
finished first share the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I share now? I have done now.
Yes. If you have finished it, correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
Ma'am, screen is visible now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this is program, ma'am. Ma'am, should I run it?
Yes. Explain your
Hello?
code. Explain your code to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. First we had put header file, hashtag include option, then CMath for our calculation.
Can you zoom in? Can you zoom in a bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Just click on there and do a pinch zoom if it is possible on your laptop.
Ma'am, where, ma'am?
Click on, now it has zoomed. Now it has zoomed. Yes. Now scroll down.
Yes, ma'am. Then main function and then.
Louder.
Yes, ma'am. Inside the main function, I have assigned variables A, B, C, X2 and discriminant, which in float because we can get the values in real numbers like point. That's why.
Okay.
And then I have print C out, enter coefficients A, B, and C, and then C in to get the three values A, B, and C, which I will type. Then I have defined discriminant as B square minus 4AC. So B into B is for multiplication. And then first case, if discriminant is greater than 0, if this happens, then the value of x1, which is my first root, will be minus b plus square root of.
This is the case of real roots, right?
Yes, ma'am. This is the case of real root. T is greater than 0.
Real and unequal.
Ma'am. Real and unequal.
Yes.
So this is the case of real and unequal. This is my first root x1, which will be minus b plus square root of discriminant. For square root, we use sqrt function by 2a and my second root, and then we will type C out. Roots are real and different, and a new line, and then C out x1 and the value of x1 will be this x1, which we will calculate by putting the values, and same C out for x2, which will be these values. Else if, now this is the second case for discriminant equals to 0, means when roots will be real and same. So for it will be, as the roots are same, we will define only one quantity x1. It will be okay. And we will print C out equals to x1 equal to x2, and we'll do x1 here. And else only one case is remaining when the roots are imaginary. So for that, roots are imaginary.
Okay.
And
So for imaginary also you could write down the formula which is missing. Okay, you can just write that.
Achha.
For imaginary, you just take care of the, how will you write it? In A plus IB form, complex number form, X plus IY form.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You run this. Very good, Chirag.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we can enter any question.
Enter the coefficients.
Ma'am. Ma'am, should I enter it on my own or you are going?
Yeah, on your own.
So let the value of AB1, BB5, CB1. So 1 minute, ma'am. So roots are real and different as 25 minus 4 is 20, t is greater than 0. And the value of roots are x1 is minus 0.2 and x2 is minus 0.48.
Okay.
And we can also do
try for other cases. Try for the other case. You can try and then just modify this else part where you will be mentioning the roots in A plus IB form. How will you do it? What will be the A part? It will be minus B by 2A, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Only the the complex part of it, the I part of it, you have to first convert that B to a positive number, then take the square root and write it with the sign plus and minus. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Then, ma'am, this is for d equals to 0, 1, 6, and 9.
Yes.
Roots are real and same.
Very good.
X1 equals to x2 equals to minus 3. And ma'am, for third case, we can put the value as 1, 1, 1. So d will be negative. 1, 1. So
roots are imaginary.
Roots are imaginary.
Correct. Yes, anyone is still facing problems with the code? Anyone? Yes, thank you, Chirag. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else is facing problems?
No, ma'am.
Sonu, your error is gone. Sonu?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the problem?
मैम मैंने ना सीन का भी वैल्यू अलग से इनपुट ले लिया था गलती से, मतलब एक्स का डिटरमिन रूट्स का.
ओके
हो गया क्लियर?
हाँ ओके गुड, ठीक है. So let us move ahead now. So we have written functions in C. Similarly, we can write functions in C++. Supports both procedural as well as object-oriented programming. We can also write functions in C++. Okay, as standalone functions that we have like in C. So the way that we use write it is similar to that in C, but there are some features which are added, some additional features. What are those additional features? First feature is of default arguments, where you can specify an argument's value. Okay, so you can specify a default value for an argument, and if that argument is not passed, you can use that value inside the function. So we will look at this example once, one example of this. You also have this feature of passing reference arguments. What are these reference arguments? We know that we can pass pointers. We can pass the address of a variable to a function in C. We can pass the address of a variable to a function in C. In C++, there is one more concept of passing a reference type. The type of the argument itself is a reference type. A reference type. The type is called a reference type. Okay. So before we actually see this part of it, we need to know what a reference type is. Okay, so this is one more feature which is added in C++. I am always comparing this whatever functionality is there in C++ with that in C, so that you can quickly jump onto C++. You get comfortable with C++. Okay, so this is the second feature. Third feature is called as function overloading. Sorry, spelling. Function overloading. Now, what is function overloading? I mentioned about this briefly.
Functions with the same name but different number of arguments and different types of data types of arguments.
Yes. So this is basically function with same name but different type and number of arguments. Type and or number of arguments. So there are some rules which we need to follow. Okay. This feature was not present in C. In C, you can write a function. If there are variants of the same function, you will have to write different function names. So for example, I gave you the example of add function. So if I'm adding two integers, two floating point numbers, so I need to write different functions. Okay. If I want to find the area of a shape, of different shapes, I'll have to write different function names. I cannot write the same function name area and have different arguments for create such copies of different functions with different arguments. In C, that is not allowed. But in C++, this feature is added, which you can use, and this feature will be helpful in the object-oriented concept of polymorphism, where instead of the function, you will have a method overloading. You will have what is known as method overloading. Okay, so these are the additional features which are added as far as functions are concerned in C++. Okay, so first of all, before I jump to these functions, today let me discuss the last the thing which I need to switch over, that is to functions, that is the reference argument. So the reference type, let me discuss the reference type first, then we will switch on to how to pass the reference arguments. Okay, so reference type basically is something like this. So how do you create a reference type or a reference variable? The syntax, let me just zoom in. Yeah, so this is one variable, string of type string called food. Okay, if I want to create a reference to this variable, then the syntax for that is the data type followed by the address of operator or the reference operator, followed by the variable name, and then I say equal to food. When I say meal, string address of meal equal to food, by this statement I mean that meal is a reference to the variable food. Okay, so what happens internally in memory is this. Okay, in memory what is happening is your food variable is there. Okay, it is having some food mentioned, pizza. Okay, and there's a meal variable, but this meal variable is now actually a reference to this food. So that means Instead of food, I can use the word meal. So wherever the word food comes, wherever the word food comes, I can use the word meal. The moment I say string address of meal equal to food, that means I have created another name for food, and that is meal. That name is meal. Okay, so in memory, what happens is food is created, this space is done, and meal is one variable which is actually just containing this. It is just pointing to this. Now, when I print out food, or if I print out meal, I will get the same output. I will get pizza. Okay. When I print out food or meal, I'll get pizza. What if I print out the address of food? What is the address of a variable? This is this when I write this expression. What is this expression? It is address of food, right? What is the address of the variable? Whatever address this memory location is, suppose this is 1000, that memory address will be printed. Okay. Now, what do you think should be the answer to address of meal?
Address of that location only.
Yes. So address of meal will be the address of that location only. Okay. So that means food's address only it will be. So if I run this program, look at the addresses. Can you see? So first I printed out food, then I printed out meal. Okay. Then I printed out the address of food. Then I printed out the address of meal. Right? So this concept you should know in order to pass the parameter as a reference parameter. So I want to stop right now because it will be very difficult for you to digest the things which come ahead. Okay. So I'll stop right now. And then on Monday, what we will do is we will revisit this example. We will pass reference parameters to functions, and we'll see the other functionality as well. And then we will start with objects, because this background is very important before we actually delve into classes and objects in C++. Okay, so all this hands-on is very, very important. That is why we are going a bit slow at the beginning, but then we'll pick up the pace as the weeks progress. Okay.
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, address of mail equals to food. इसका मतलब address of first letter of the string.
This is not a pointer. This is not a pointer. Pointer में उल्टा होता है. This is not a pointer variables. You have 3 types of variables in C++. Okay, I can have a pointer also. Right? This is a pointer variable, right?
See here, after writing this, address of mail equals to
so how will I write it? Pointer is equal to address of food. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it's there's a difference. There are 3 types of variables. One is a normal variable, one is a pointer variable, and one is a reference variable.
मैम सर 9 नंबर पे जो कोड है उसका मतलब ऐसा है क्या कि मील में फूड के एड्रेस पे जो स्टोर है वो मील के एड्रेस पे स्टोर करना है, मतलब मील का एड्रेस सेम करना है।
मतलब ये है कि food or meal, they are alias, the aliases for each other. I can use the term meal or food
for the same address.
Yes. That is the meaning of that. Reference.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Pointer is an indirection. So that is what I am telling. It will be difficult to digest. I want to show the relationship between all of these. I'll discuss it next time. Let us take it one thing at a time. That rather than me bombarding stuff, everything it will be difficult for everyone to digest. Let us go step by step. Okay. So what I will do is, today, the basic functions, you have written a quadratic root function. Let me give you 2-3 more functions for practice. What you do, 2-3 more programs for practice, where strings are also involved, because now strings also is clear how to read from the user. Okay. So I will just give that as homework. Just do it, practice it, and then next week we'll discuss again. Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, can I share my code once?
Yeah, let me stop presenting. So those who are done, I think you can leave. If you want to stay back to see any problems that you're facing, you can stay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
is there any data type for complex number?